All right, welcome back to another Talking Heads style video down in the studio.
Yep.
And surprisingly enough, this is not a Talking Heads video we've ever made.
No.
So today...
Was this spurred by somebody?
No, I was just... no, honestly, this was... This is spurred because I was scrolling through pictures on my phone. And I wanted to post like a way back Wednesday picture on Instagram, and I saw all the pictures of Lake Tahoe, and I was like, God, Lake Tahoe is sick, and like California is sick, and I'm like, I can't believe A, I've only been there once, B, we've never done like a trip there, and C, I was like, I regret not, well, I'm already getting into the regrets, but spoiler alert, one of the regrets was like we just didn't do enough. We've been backpacking for like a decade and we've never done a West Coast backpacking trip. So that's what spurred this video.
Okay.
Also, I want to give a plug. They didn't pay us to say this, but Art of the Trek is currently looking for people to plan routes for them. Paid. They'll pay you to plan routes.
That's a nice work from home
so
side gig.
I'll put Nicole's email down in the comments. They did not pay us to say this. This is not a sponsored video or anything, but I just think there's probably some people watching this.
We got some good feedback lately on from somebody who has used that service.
Yeah. So and I feel like there's like a couple thousand people will watch this. There's probably a couple people that like, hey, I could like
looking for a side gig,
little side gig, and plan backpacking routes for people. Yeah. So if you're interested in doing something like that. We'll put Nicole's email down in the comments. Just shoot her an email. We already had a subscriber email us, and they're now planning routes for Art of the Trek. So if that's, I don't know anything about the details. I just know you'll be planning routes, and they'll pay you. So, all right, so onto the show. All right, backpacking regrets. So I gave the first one just as the premise for why we're filming this is we've done so much backpacking on the East Coast, quote unquote, not really the East Coast, but the
east of Midwest,
the Eastern United States. And we have never actually done a trip west of Colorado.
Yeah.
And Colorado's not really West Coast backpacking, so I don't consider that West Coast backpacking.
But you know what? Backpacking is like, most people backpack probably within their vicinity, and they might, if they're lucky, like once out of the year, go to like something outside of their general location.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't think that's like I don't think it's unfair to crap on ourselves for that.
I don't know.
We're just expanding still.
10 years and 10 years of backpacking. We've gone to Zaleski like 9 times.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't fly to California like for like a one-nighter.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And in the last 10 years, we've hit up some pretty spectacular places.
Yes.
Wyoming, South Dakota, Colorado.
That's true.
California,
Wyoming. We have not gone to California.
You have.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, but that was like a one or two night thing, not a real trip. I forgot about Wyoming. Wyoming was pretty spectacular. But anyway, I do regret not getting out to the West Coast more. But I'm hoping to change that. And I include Arizona in the West Coast, even though it's not really. So that is regret number 1. Do you have a regret you'd like to share?
Well, it's not trip based.
That's okay.
But it's certainly, I guess if we're just talking about, like, I was looking at all my gear and I was like, what do I regret buying? And there isn't too much pieces of gear that I actually like straight out regret buying. Like a lot of the stuff that we've bought has been an evolution over time. So now like we have stuff that we don't use anymore, but it's not because like we're like kicking ourselves for buying it. But one of the things I do kick myself for buying was I bought a 10-degree Econ underquilt.
Just get the 0.
Yeah, normally I use like 20s with like fall, but like 10 degree to me is like just get the 0. 10 degree is kind of pointless since we mostly use 20s. Just go with the 0. And then I kind of regret getting the Econ, and I remember thinking to myself at the time I should just pay more for the lighter weight because my winter gear is so bulky as it is. Like any way to slim it down.
That's true. That's a good point.
Pretty advantageous. So I should have gone with a 0. I should have gone with a higher quality down, and luckily we're good now. But but it's kind of, I do regret buying that.
I regret buying multiple wood burning stoves. Although we used it at Isle Royale because we had to.
What was the multiple ones?
I bought a really cheap one on Amazon prior to buying the Vargo one.
Oh, that's right. I remember we tried to like, put it together.
That one, it was like $10.
I like how they call that a wood stove, but it's just a piece of metal that holds.
It's 4 pieces of metal.
It's like it's like you could just buy like a you know that MSR quick plate or the plate that you have.
Yeah, I regret buying that too.
Yeah. I mean, that's a wood stove. Again, that's a wood stove.
That's funny. No, well, we got a wood stove originally because we were going to an area where you could only use twig burning stoves, and if we were to go do that again, I would have bought the Vargo stoves are not cheap, and I would have bought just a cheaper one if it was just like using it for once and then throwing it away or something. But I bought like a nice wood burning stove. I've only used it once. It's kind of cool, but its usefulness is limited. I would only shake it if I always had to. And then I bought an MSR plate, like because we were trying to screw with cooking fish on a stove, and I thought I could put the plate on a gas stove, and you could, but the plate like burned. So there's a lot of like gear fails that I regret buying, but I guess it's just like testing stuff out.
Yeah, so it turns out like a plate isn't a skillet.
No. I thought it would work better actually, but whatever.
Lighter,
if you check out one of our like earliest videos at Lake Vesuvius, you can see us
burning a plate
and that failing actually. So that I think that's the only like major. I agree with your sentiment on tweener quilts. Like if you do 4-season backpacking, I wouldn't even buy a 20. I would buy like a 30 and a 0.
See, I'm of the opinion of like right now I'm 0, 20, 40.
You should just have 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50.
No, I think
10 quilts.
For me, 0, 20, 30 is pretty good. I see the argument for 0, 30, 40 or 0. I think 0, 30, 40 is also good.
Yeah.
If you got the coin to drop on a quilt.
If you're going to drop $1,000 on quilts,
more than $1,000.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So I think, in terms of gear, I was going through everything. Like, I don't really regret any of the pack decisions. I maybe regret not going straight to a Dyneema based pack. Like we had Gossamer gear packs for a while, and before that, I guess you just kind of, your gear evolves. But I should have just not bought the Gossamer gear pack. I don't know why I bought that pack and I didn't buy like a Z-Packs, because Z-Packs was around like 2016, 2015.
Probably price.
Yeah, the Gossamer gear packs aren't cheap though. So, and I also, now that I'm thinking about this, I do regret in terms of tenting, I regret not getting a trekking pole tent, because I went through several tents prior to the YouTubing that were like Kelty, Big Agnes, like they weren't necessarily that cheap either. And trekking pole, like the Six Moon Designs tents existed. I don't know why I didn't just buy those. I bought like a Big Agnes tent that was just as expensive. So I don't know. I regret not trekking pole supported tents are awesome.
Yes.
They work really well. I was skeptical at first, but I've never, even if you're in a situation where you can't, it has to be like staked in, or like you can't stay, you can use rocks and stuff. And like, you can I have yet to see a situation ever, even in California, where you couldn't use a non-freestanding tent. In the snow, maybe. Right?
What?
Like in the snow, you probably have to use a non-freestanding tent.
No, that's not true at all.
Or if you have to use you can use a trekking pole tent in the snow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess.
What about all those PCT hikers that go through the Sierras?
Yeah, I guess.
I think what you're thinking about is like climbing Mount Everest, and you need a 4-season for like 100 mile an hour wind.
You're not using a duplex on.
You need like a 4-season tent that you can with snow stakes that you can batten down the hatches. Not for anything.
Yeah, so I guess I just regret buying tweener. I should have just gone to more lighter stuff, because it wasn't that much more expensive. It really wasn't.
Yeah.
So I screwed around for a couple years with Gossamer gear packs, which are great packs, but for like an extra $50, you can get a pack that weighs half as much. And then I screwed around with a lot of tents before going to a trekking pole. I had this thing, I didn't think trekking pole sport tents would be that good, but they're pretty rock solid.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That kind of loops it. I don't know. I guess now that I'm thinking about this, I'm staring at the gear. There are more regrets.
Another thing that I regret is just buying a million stuff sacks. And I got a lot of them.
Do you not use stuff sacks anymore?
I use 2 stuff sacks. I'm sorry. I use 3 stuff sacks.
How many stuff sacks do you have?
Probably like 15 or 20. But
Really?
some of them like have been sent to us.
That's a lot of stuff sacks.
I probably bought like 6 or 8 of them. I use 3. I use a pack liner, which I don't know if I'd call this stuff sack.
Yeah, you mean like DYNEEMA or Schill nylon dry bags?
I use
You have 15 of them? That is a lot.
You probably do too.
I mean, I have many more than I need.
I probably
True. I don't think I have 15.
Depending on the weather, I might also put my insulation in a stuff sack inside of a pack liner, depending on the weather or the season.
If it's like really bad weather.
Yeah, and then I have like my cook kit and like a little DYNEEMA stuff sack, and that's it. And then the rest just ages.
Yeah.
Collects dust.
Yeah, I have a lot of stuff sacks.
Either. They're not cheap like the
Z-Packs ones are not.
I've bought plenty of the Z-Packs like roll tops DYNEEMA stuff sacks, and they're great. They work fine. They work fantastic. It's just I don't need them.
Yeah, I have a lot of stuff sacks now that I'm thinking about it. Another thing that I regret, and this is a YouTube regret, I regret we should have just started the channel filming on our phones.
Yeah.
The GoPro, we started the channel with a GoPro, and the GoPro is a sweet camera.
The
microphone blows, and if you're not carrying a phone, I understand that you don't have the phone as an option, but even like 4 years ago or 3 years ago, the cell phone cameras were just as good as GoPro cameras. And the GoPro is a cool camera, and there's a lot of utility for it, but it was not needed.
The entire Colorado Trail series is filmed just on our phones.
We did many trips just filmed on our phones. Yeah. And the phone is still is solid, but we used a GoPro for like a year. Even we shot like our Talking Heads videos on GoPros when our phone was almost just as good, and the audio on the GoPro sucks. So, we should have just, if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel,
just do it on your phone.
Just do it on your phone. If you bring your phone backpacking and your phone has a decent camera, like phones nowadays, the cameras are really good. Now, if you're filming in 4K, they need a really expensive phone. Another thing I regret, as I thought about this earlier, is at least I personally did not get on the permetherin train early enough. I didn't start routinely permetherining my gear until last year, until 1999 or 2019. Wrong date. And permetherin works, and it's easy and it's cheap, and just do it before a trip. You know, you gotta do it like I do it like twice a year, right? Like on the big trips where we're going somewhere. I didn't start using it till last year, and I think it works really well, especially on the underside of a hammock. I since using it, I have never seen a tick ever. I've never seen a mosquito get close to me really while backpacking. So I don't know. I didn't start using it, and that was like permetherin was a very popular thing for years. It still is.
Does permetherin work against mosquitoes?
They claim it does. It detracts them, but I don't know. Now that I use it, I've never seen a tick. Have you seen one?
Yeah, I've seen ticks before.
Like on you?
No.
Yeah, like I've never seen one on me, and we've been in high tick areas, and I think permethrin is pretty safe to use too. So I don't know what the
not around animals.
No, it will kill your cat. But I didn't start using it, and even now, I use the spray bottle, and I think I should just go to soaking stuff like clothes.
Well, it's cheaper. It's a lot cheaper.
Yes, but soaking stuff's got to be way more effective.
Yeah.
And even in like a hammock, I think soaking a hammock's perfect because spraying a hammock sucks.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I regret not using permetherin more because Lyme disease is real. So now I'm pretty religious about it.
I think one of my bigger regrets is as we've started to winter camp a lot more. This is probably the same for you too. Is we've bought gear to like slowly get us more comfortable winter camping, even though we knew exactly what we needed to buy to get like the best experience possible. So where I'm going with this is I've got a pile of stuff now that I've accumulated to like cheap down and that type of thing.
Yeah.
And like when we first started winter camping, I was just like just tons of layers of like somewhat warm gear.
Yeah.
Just layer and layer and layer. But the whole time I was just like, I just don't feel like buying like the nice down and stuff like that. But then I eventually bought it, and it's so much better, so much easier, like a really high quality down jacket, much better like quilts. which I should have just bought.
We should have bought winter quilts off the get-go. We didn't.
This is kind of like one of those buy once, cry once type things.
Yeah, especially for winter backpacking.
And my winter gear is so bulky. And,
it is.
And it sucks.
Do you regret not getting the 40-liter curve? That's a yes.
I guess, sure. No, I don't regret it because I don't like how tall it is.
Is it that much taller? Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it is. It's 5 liters taller worth of gear.
I never intended to use my curve for winter camping. I've tried to cram everything into 35
It's
liters.
tight. I can do it though in 40. Yeah.
It's just not happening. I don't regret the curve at all. I love the curve.
No, I meant like the size choice of the curve.
Well, if I was gonna buy it to be like, oh, I'm gonna use this winter camping, then I would have obviously bought a larger pack. But no, it's just not happening. But I guess my goal would be is keep getting better gear so that I can fit in the curve.
You can't go that much smaller.
I guess I got some stuff.
Yeah. You know, we haven't brought this up, but you know, because it's so trite with us, but the original Schill Brothers backpacking regret was backpacking for 6 years without chairs. That was regretful. All right.
Those are the regrets that we can think of.
We laid them out. There were more as we started talking about it, and I'm sure there are more. Nobody's perfect.
I want to be one of those like minimalist person that their like gear closet is like one small tub because all your gear is like perfect and like works.
That's not the case.
But it's just not the case for us. But that would be my dream. Just and you can certainly do it. But
nope,
that
that's
gear.
not us.
Yeah.
No, I look over there. You've got more gear than me at this point, I think.
Probably around the same.
Yeah. So that is it. This is a fun little video. It's always, Andy and I, we adopted a lifestyle of continuous improvement.
Yes.
And part of
we're willing to admit our faults.
Part of continuous improvement is, reflecting and thinking about how you can do better, and
so that you guys don't make the same mistakes we do.
So if you if you have the money to buy multiple quilts, or you want to buy a 0 degree, buy that. Don't buy the 10 degree. That's a solid recommendation.
Yeah.
The same goes with top quilts too, honestly.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it, everybody. Let us know your regrets. Drop them in the comments, and we'll see everybody on the next video.